You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Sponsored by Treebor Soft Mints.
Absolute Radio.
Hey! It's the Not the Weekend podcast thing with Frank Skinner and Emily, Gareth.
Good morning.
Bagpuss.
Bagpuss?
Oh, yes, and turn up again. Do you find he's getting less and less reliable?
I'm glad he was muscling me out.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I noticed the other day he got his zip slightly down. You could see a pair of pyjamas in there. And we're Bagpuss. I want to believe it's a living creature.
Yeah.
I don't want to be reminded of the its essential purpose.
Especially me, I still love him. Apparently.
I know, so I've heard that. Oh, yes, it's oft repeated. So,
Messy breakup though, wasn't it?
yeah, sorry about that.
He went to the papers.
Oh, speaking of messy,
Told a story.
did he? Bagpuss did
Yeah.
he? I hate it when they do
He had a
that.
basque on and everything.
Did he? He could do with a basque on. He's baggy in the extreme, isn't he?
He was holding a cheap glass of champagne, Frank. It was
Imagine
horrible.
how he'd sort of overlap a basque. You know when you see, very old people in Bath.
How dare you?
In Basques, yeah.
How dare you discuss my Comedy Awards outfit last week?
Yeah. But you know that their cop runneth over.
Yes,
You know
I know
that,
what you mean.
that thing. Yeah, like if someone overfills a cappuccino and the froth seems to cling, seems to defy gravity in some. Anyway, so let me. Speaking of strange physical phenomenon, I went to the chiropodist this week. I say chiropodist. Some people say chiropodist.
I say chiropodist.
Chiropodist.
Did you go?
No.
Well, then I get to choose the pronunciation.
Pronunciation.
That can't be right. Anyway, I went to the chiropodist, and I liked the chiropodist, I must say.
Oh, God.
I do. It's a very satisfying.
Male or female?
Male.
Right.
Sometimes it's Kathy, but this time it was Jonathan.
Okay.
And I tell you what happened. I'm a fan of the chiropodist. I mean, I don't know. Before I went to the chiropodist, I spent most of the years of my life not going. I don't know if I got my shoes on, looking back. Because I find the skin builds up big time.
Yeah.
Right? I was growing my own platforms. But I've lost about 1.5 inches in height since I started going to the chiropodist. That was just hard skin.
So what, do they file you off, or how does it work?
Oh, God.
Well, they do there's some filing, some clipping. And this time we did some sanding.
Ah.
Now, what they do...
With a lathe?
No, I can't get my leg over. They have like a small sandpaper disc on like a drill.
Oh, it's...
And then they go
That
over
sounds
it.
nice.
Well, the thing was, it came a bit...
Now I know what to get you for your birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll tell you what you can get me. You can get me a welding mask. Because what happened was the thing broke, the disc.
Oh, God.
It went at an angle, and suddenly there was like a spray of my own heel skin went into my face.
Oh, no.
I was in a frank blizzard. I had me in my eyes. It was a very peculiar experience. I don't know if you've ever showered in your own skin, but it's really...
Let me
neither of you...
think.
You're both looking slightly
I want to
afraid.
Is this some dodgy...
You were afraid.
Is this some dodgy back alley chiropodist that you've been going to?
Oh, one of those, a backstreet chiropodist.
Sounds very dodgy.
Yeah, it's a
Power tools and-
middle-aged woman. She's just trying to help me out.
So, what was it Kathy or Jonathan this week?
It was Jonathan this week.
So what was Jonathan's response to this? Tell me how he reacted.
He pointed out that since these things have been made in China rather than America, they often break.
That sounds a bit...
I said that's all very well,
It's
but
a
do you think, have you got a vacuum cleaner you could put on my face?
Should have been wearing goggles, because a bit could have, a sharp bit.
Yeah, imagine being blinded by your own heel. It doesn't bear thinking about. Also, he discovered, what about this? He discovered a corn.
Oh, I feel sick.
Well, I mean, our 1950s. I think I might have picked it up at the jiving at the local palais.
So you're eating a corn on the cob, you got a bit messy, it just got everywhere.
No,
Is
this is a proper
proper
old-fashioned
that-
corn.
What is it?
Foot corn.
You never heard of a
Foot
corn?
Well,
Foot corn?
I've heard
You know the
tell,
old song, foot corn, going so fast. No?
Don't you know corns? Everyone had them in Disneyland. Oh.
They have them in Disney.
Really? It's a foot problem that everyone has at Disney World. Wow.
Have you not heard of a corn?
I have heard of a corn.
Yeah, I didn't think they existed anymore. I thought they'd just gone out of fashion. But I've had a
Brought it back.
I like a sort of a more rural version of the Veruca, I would say.
Well, mine's quite urban.
It's
Yeah, it had quite a baggy tracksuit top on and shades. No, it's just very 50s. I was quite excited to have it. Anyway, I had this idea because when we chatted, he was doing all this, and when I wasn't avoiding my own skin, I was. We chatted a lot, and it's a very.
Are you not comfortable in your own skin?
No, I'm in it, all right, but not showered by it. I don't want it on my tongue. Have you ever tasted your heel?
Let's just try it now.
Oh, careful. Oh, there goes the spine. Gone like a carrot. So, I thought it might be a good idea for a TV show, a chat show, in which the interviewer performs chiropody on the celebrity. Because I find it's very chat-inducing having your feet shaved and planed. Yeah.
And
Also...
did you open up to Jonathan?
Yeah, quite a lot.
What did you tell him?
I told him to please stop covering me in my own heel. I told him about my financial situation with AIG and that I'd lost a lot of money in the credit crunch. Told him all about that, and he made a few suggestions.
Did he?
Yeah. Mainly about his tip and the fact that it shouldn't be affected by it. And if I was building him up for that, I could forget about it.
Oh, do you tip the chiropodist?
Oh,
then?
God, I tip the chiropodist, yeah.
Oh.
If you don't tip your chiropodist, I think an angel gets its wings or something like that. Or does a sailor die? It's some superstition about it. Anyway, also on this programme, you'd get to see celebrity feet, which would be fascinating. I think people... you think of all the people on telly that you know about their intimate lives and all that, but you couldn't... If I showed you now a load of pictures of celebrity feet, I mean, how many could you recognise?
I could probably name quite a few.
Heather Mills, that'd be it.
Big Bird.
Well...
Big Bird.
Victoria Beckham, she's got quite bad bunions, which I do as well because it's heels. That'll do that to you.
So you'd recognise her
Yeah,
feet?
because of the bunions.
You see, I was just thinking, I went to see Kill Bill, which is one of my favourite films ever, and everyone I've spoken to about Kill Bill, they don't talk about the incredible fight sequences or the sparkling screenplay. They talk about Uma Thurman's feet.
Oh, they are quite distinctive.
Yeah, they're not nearly as attractive as Uma Thurman. No. So anyway, that's my idea. If there's any TV producers listening, let's talk. I sound like Andrew Stone on Louis Spence's Showbiz. Or maybe stupid manager. Have we heard from the outside world?
Well, we have. Frank, I got a tweet this week, because I should say you don't communicate via Twitter, do you?
No.
So a lot of people that want to talk to you sometimes...
I used to, but I found that big cat used to keep creeping up on me.
What, Bagpuss again?
No. Sylvester.
Sylvester.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. So someone called James Ball tweeted me.
Oh, yeah.
And this was in reference to, you were talking about an art house film last week, which you've been to
It's
see.
hot in here, isn't it? God, I'm sorry, but it's like being in Tenko.
Oh, you've got a bit sleazy.
Yeah, you've gone very Stephanie Beacham, if you don't mind me saying.
Oh, my favourite one.
Yeah.
James Ball says, can you let Frank know that there isn't a monkey in Uncle Boon Me, but there is an ape ghost? How could you get it so wrong, Frank?
Now, hold on a minute. Uncle Boomy was the film I was talking about on the show last week. Did I not say that it was a monkey spirit?
Actually, you did.
I said it was a monkey. I know, I remember, because monkey spirit, coincidentally, is the name of my new fragrance.
No, but he's saying
It's a sort of
an ape.
mix of banana and sweat.
His argument isn't with the spirit form, spirit world.
Okay.
It's
the
with
world of spirits.
The world of spirits. It's with the fact that exactly right, Gareth. Well
Yeah.
done.
He's saying it's an ape, not a monkey.
Yeah, you've confused monkeys and apes, Frank. That's where he takes
Yeah,
issue
but
with you.
I think you'll find that once they become ghosts...
Can I just say at this
Let's
point,
call the whole thing
Daisy,
off.
who works on the show, is holding out your jacket for you.
Yes. That was a kind... I'm just so hot. I can't even explain what's happening to my body as a result of this temperature. But it's gone very tenka. I'm afraid that a very angry Japanese man will come in at any point and hit me with a cane. Now, I can live without that. I don't know about you. What about you, Em? How do you feel about that? So I take his point, monkey. Let's call the whole thing Beppo.
We have also had an email from Neil McLean, and he said about BFM. Frank,
Britain's fattest man.
Fattest man. Frank,
Okay.
catching up on some recent podcasts and heard you discuss BFM. I have a funny story, in my opinion, about BFM. I should edit that bit out. I didn't need to read that bit.
No, I like in my
like that?
opinion.
I like, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
IMO. Love it.
Yeah, exactly.
BFM IMO, as you were.
Watching TV with my daughter, aged 4, the preview trailer came on, advertising the BFM programme. My daughter's comment, "Why is there a chicken on the telly?" And you know, when I saw the naked BFM lying on his bed, he amazingly looked like a plucked, ready-to-cook chicken.
Oh,
How I
dear.
laughed.
What sort of a chicken?
What, ready to... whatever it was.
Self-basting.
Well, what I find odd about that is that why is there a chicken on the... it's like there's never a chicken on the television.
Yeah.
Why is there a chicken on the... What's going on? If she thought it was a chicken... I mean, television is many things. It's not a chicken-free zone.
No.
So wouldn't you just think, oh, there's yet another big fat chicken on the television? Maybe when she said it, there was a chicken perched on, one of the folds of the BFM.
Britain's fattest man's mouth, and before
The bloke could look at the
Yeah.
screen, his tongue shot out and whipped. Did he notice one feather just going past the BFM's face? So, well, poor old BFM. I haven't heard any more. There's been no follow-up to
No.
that. I thought he'd linger in the
Some
news.
further reports about his romances.
Is he dating
Oh,
Jordan?
Really? See, the trouble is, the more weight he loses, I'm afraid the less interest people have in him.
Well, that is true.
That's the nature of his fame. So he's going to have to fatten up.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite of Fern Britain. Fern Britain's fattest man. Does she have a collection of men and he's the fattest? I like the idea of that. So,
She's nice and svelte now. She's one of those Vorderman I still got it ones.
yeah, I agree with that. She's made big efforts.
Yeah, don't look at the neck.
Oh,
Just
they're rather
saying.
bitchy.
Just saying.
Don't look at the neck. Why? She's not one of those brides of Dracula.
Why don't look at the
No,
neck?
It's all a bit.
Is it tucked up?
Turkey swizzle.
Yeah.
Oh no! I wish you hadn't brought that up.
Yeah, I shouldn't
All
have
she
said that.
needs is
Shouldn't
I
have said
find
that.
it.
I feel bad when I say things about
Yeah.
people, and you think, we're in a little room somewhere. You think, and then you think, oh no, people might have listened to that. So I'd like to apologise to the following people: Fern Britton, Carol Vorderman, and Hugh Dennis. I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything by it.
I don't
Why'd
remember
you
you
bring
saying
Hugh
anything.
Dennis into
Did you
the
say
equation?
something about Hugh Dennis?
I did say something about Hugh Dennis.
Oh, did you? Well, it's good that you've really brought it
I know, I shouldn't have said it, but I'm just sorry, Hugh.
What did you
if
say
didn't
about Hugh
listen.
Dennis?
I didn't say anything about Hugh Dennis. Well, I did. I know, I just said, do you remember I said that my optician said that his favourite person of Mock the Week was Hugh Dennis, and I said, I raised my eyebrows. Whereas, it's fine if that's his favourite person.
Yeah, I also find that eyebrow raising on the radio is never that controversial.
I think I didn't give anything away.
Whereas making unkind remarks about Fern Britain, send her a little
Yeah.
gift through the post.
Little cake.
Yeah. Bulldog clips, maybe. Bulldog clip earrings. By the sounds of it, that would be absolutely spot on. I think she's looking very... I liked her better when she was big, I'll be honest with
Did
you.
you?
She had more
Yeah, no,
vivacity
Oh,
about her.
don't say she was jolly.
No, she wasn't jolly, but she had... I felt that I was closer to her in a spirit. Strangely.
You were closer
Okay.
to her because
Well, no,
she
because-
went out further.
I know, but her inner spirit, if you think, was more encased.
No, I know
than it
what
is
you
now.
mean. She's lost something of her
she
essence.
agreed.
Yeah. I think she's become less Fern Britain than she used to be, and she's moved more into that general species that is female TV presenter.
Yes, I think
and
that's true.
I miss Fern Britain. That's all I'm saying. Which it was pretty hard to miss her in those days. Anyway,
Thanks.
we've got exciting news, exciting radio show news. Because I don't know if you all remember when Ethan was born. That was a special moment.
Yeah.
obviously I am barren as a brick. So we shouldn't be looking in that direction. Emily is single, but
There's
happily she has a sister.
yeah, there's a new child in the family, so I can still keep my figure, which is awesome.
That's nieces. I find that nieces have no effect on your figure whatsoever.
No, that's the beauty of them. Oh, I think she was about £8. So lucky.
Quite cheap. What do you think? Is that from Somalia? On the internet.
Everyone's doing it nowadays.
Oh, no.
She's called Bertie, which I quite like. Her actual name is Alberta, but everyone's already calling her Bertie.
I call her Albert.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. But they used to call Edward VII Bertie, didn't they?
Yeah. Was that Burlington Bertie? Was that someone
No, I
else?
think that was that was a fictional character from the musical. I'm Burlington Bertie. I rise
I like that you
at
know that.
8:30 and blah, blah, blah.
Frankipedia.
Yes. Don't spread those rumours. But it's not often one meets an £8.5 child named after Edward VII. Yeah,
It's
so
very
she's
fashionable
beautiful,
now,
obviously, as babies are.
Obviously. Well,
Yeah.
they are, yeah. They all look a bit like Joe Calzaghe, but she's still beautiful. But she, what was weird is I went over immediately after the birth. I didn't have the messy bit.
No.
But I came to see my sister, and I was with my mum, and we're sitting there. And you go and you say, oh, you sit round the bed, you go, oh, and you go, just got lunch. But no, so I went to say, oh,
Yeah.
did my bit, looked over at the bed opposite. There was a woman. She'd obviously just had her baby. The baby was in some cot thing next to the bed.
Sort
There's
of
a
plastic
man-
tank. They're those plastic tanks.
Yeah,
that keep
like a
them in.
tank thing.
In
like
a
an
plastic
It's like
tank?
an amphibian tank.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
That's what they do.
Oh,
So-
dear. Do they have a deep-sea diver in there and a ruined castle?
Some little coral.
Get plenty of gravel on
Yeah.
the bottom.
And
Terriates.
Frank, there's this woman there. The baby's there. There's a man next to her in the bed. Nothing on. Naked.
In the...
Yes, in the bed.
Well, I mean, I knew there was a bed shortage. I didn't know they were doubling up.
My mum went, look at that man. Look at that man. I looked over. I went, I said, disgusting.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
What, out loud?
Yes. I thought it was. My sister was like, don't cause a fuss. Don't bring attention to it. You couldn't miss it. Now, I looked. When the sheet rode down slightly, I saw a slither of pant.
Oh, so he wasn't naked.
Oh, thanks. You're spoiling us. Wearing pants.
Yeah, quite a look though, eh?
What sort of a man? Now, is this normal when you've had a baby for the man to clamber into bed with pants?
I've never heard of
Maybe
that before.
maybe they were mixed gender Siamese twins.
No, but Gareth, seriously, have you
God,
ever heard
no.
of that?
Yeah, what about if they were conjoined, they'd just been separated?
The girl.
I mean, you have to break them in gently. You can't just put them in separate beds straight up. They were just sitting there thinking, oh, this feels a bit weird, and then they had someone shout, disgusting. Haven't they had enough of that in their lives? Yeah. Don't they have enough of that, no, two heads are better than one and all that, just leave them alone. Yeah, so that was, that's a strange
What is
tale.
it, Gareth? Have
Very
you ever
odd.
heard of... I mean, do men get
No,
into the beds ever?
No, I don't think that's appropriate. I perched on the edge, but I was fully closed. I did. There are different rules. Like when Ethan was first born, they teach you.
You perched on the edge? What,
Yeah.
like Gollum? Just above the clipboard.
the far corner.
Oh, God, I don't like the sound of that. You know that painting of the sort of familiar on that woman's bed? You know that old 19th century painting? Oh, look it up! Yeah. But you wouldn't take your clothes off, surely.
Well, when in the groups where they teach you about what babies like
groups?
and how to use, the prenatal groups.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
they
thought you
say-
meant like Jerry and the Pacemaker. I say, the whole antenatal thing's very strange there. It's all changed.
Yeah, and they say that
Life goes on day after day. And then you change the nappy. And that'll be fine. So ferry, cross the No, burping properly.
they teach you that babies when they first come out they like skin to skin contact.
Oh, don't
They
we
should
all
go
love?
to my chiropodist. Oh, we could set up a little show for it in the corner. Oh, I see.
Yeah, so that and the mother, so you put it on the mother, but because Laura had a cesarean, she can't sit up. So so they say sometimes the father does it. So I thought this was normal practice.
Yeah.
So when I took my shirt off
What, in the Aussie?
in the
You never
hospital,
did.
yeah.
He did it as well. He
Yeah.
was saying, I've never heard of such a thing. Well, now we've got a confession out of him.
First of all, it was when I perched on the side of the bed. I didn't take
Next
the
thing,
shirts off.
he's shirtless.
Oh, it's all gone very Athena poster. Oh, really? And you
bit
put...
like that.
Was it still... I don't... Was Ethan still sort of after birthy?
No, well, it was quite soon, but it had been cleaned.
Oh, okay.
Had you been cleaned? Skin to skin contact, not skin to hairy old chest wig contact.
But if he was after birthy, you could have held him until he, stock, and then you wouldn't have needed a papoose.
Till it's
And you held him for how long then?
a little bit. The nurses seemed to act like it was a bit odd.
Yeah.
Which
What,
I
that
thought-
screaming? I hate it when they do that screaming thing. And calling security. It's embarrassing, isn't
And
it?
I was a bit of a state. It'd been a long birth. Like
Oh,
Laura.
poor soul.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Meanwhile, post-caesarean Laura, it's fine for her.
No, Laura had been through a major operation. The nurses said to Laura, "I think he better go home now."
How about you?
Sent me home, yeah. 'Cause
Oh, that is a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whip your shirt off and then get sent home. Great.
Oh, no, that's like getting a second yellow card for taking your shirt off while celebrating a goal, in a strange way, I suppose. More emails, maybe?
Yes, we've had another email from Adam Usena. I think
Huh?
that's how you pronounce it. He says, "Good morning, Frank, Emily and Gareth. I am an avid listener and love your podcast, but my family think I'm mad. Probably because I listen on end continuously all the time. But I think
On end.
Yeah. He
Okay.
listens on end
All right.
continuously all the time. But I think comedy should be listened to all the time, especially if it's good like you. I am 10.
Oh.
Well,
That's nice.
he turned it round at the end.
Yeah.
I was just about to give a barrage of abuse that he was some sort of imbecile. It
But
turns
he
out to be a
said-
child. How lovely.
no.
Although,
That's
Frank,
nice.
I like that he's put I am 10 as a caveat, knowing that the fact that he loves our show, I'm 10, though.
Yeah. So what do you
I am
expect?
10. That's true.
It's great being 10. I remember when I was 10, I was filled with terrible regret that I would never be single figures.
Oh,
Ever
were you?
again.
Really? Well, that's the glass half full
Yeah.
attitude to
Yeah,
life.
yeah, I felt I was, I couldn't get back. It was like a room that had been closed to me, single figures.
Goodness me.
And I thought, I'm going to be double figures for treble figures is a way off. Yeah. So he has my sympathy. But what a lovely thing. Thanks, Adam, and do keep listening continually. Well, maybe we should start doing podcasts that are like 3 or 4 days long. Imagine. We should do that for charity. 24-hour podcast.
Sponsored.
Imagine how poor that would be. In parts, it would be brilliant, I think, and in parts, as bad as anything's ever been.
Didn't you once do a radio
Brackets,
show
not the magician's
for
clothes.
24 hours? I'm sure you did like some marathon radio show.
Yeah, but I was on it for about 10 minutes.
Oh, were you?
It was a
Okay.
tsunami spectacular.
Okay.
Pardon me. And, I just turned up and I gave them a shirt that used to belong to Elvis Presley.
Oh, Gareth could have helped you out with shirts. He's got quite a few spare ones hanging around.
And, so I didn't do the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
I imagine that after about 8 or 9 hours, our voices would go. We'd start to despise each other. Am I right?
Rambling, just endless rambling. I'm crying,
Yeah, it wouldn't be that similar to, that different to,
basically.
but, be longer. We could do it if there's a suitable call. Keep your eye out for natural disasters and we'll see what.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it needs to be a biggie. I want at least 3,000 people out the way
Frank.
before we commit to 24 hours. I'm not doing it for a coach crash.
Frank!
Well, look, I'm just setting down, you got to have rules. My gaff,
So
my
not-
rules.
not a coach crash.
Somebody
Coach
once
crash.
said.
Something more than a coach crash. What am I looking for?
Yeah. I mean, I think I fancy a tornado. Because then we can call it,
Not been a big toilet.
I thought they'd been discontinued, those ice creams.
You can call it Frank Skinner's 24-hour tornado. Something else that begins with T.
Yeah.
Spectacular. Okay.
Something that's got a T in it.
It's got a T in it, hasn't it?
Tea.
I went to a puppet show.
I went to the Comedy Awards, big wow.
Yeah, well, anyway, I went to a
Puppet
puppet
show.
show, and it was brilliant. Actually, it was
it?
it was based on the tales of Edgar Allan Poe.
Right.
Oh, yes, I'm familiar with this work.
Yes, there was a killer ape in it.
Right.
And the
Definitely
great
an
thing,
ape, not a monkey. I know how you
I'm
get this
thinking
confused.
it was Simeon.
Simeon.
It was certainly Simeon.
Simeon's gift.
It wasn't Simeon's
No,
gift. God, no. It was
Not the puppet version of Simeon's gift.
That would have been better. It just got me to think. I tell you what was great. There's a point where the Simeon, I'm sure it was an ape. The ape rips the head off a couple of old age pensioners and throws them around with blood coming off them and stuff. And it's much easier to do that with puppets than it is with human beings. Cheap to do it live. And it made me think, and I've thought this, because I've been to a few puppet shows, I don't know why people actually bother with real actors
Right.
at all. I would be quite happy if television was just puppets and no people on it at all.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be? I
Was
mean,
it a Muppet 24 Hours?
no, but you could make quite realistic ones. EastEnders, you could even, you could copy the characters.
I don't mind puppets on telly, I agree with you. Puppets in reality, I find very depressing.
Puppets in reality? What
Yes.
can that possibly
Okay,
mean?
I mean, puppets in reality is when you're forced to
Do you
sit
mean
there
like a puppet,
and
some
see...
sort of puppet government?
You mean when I only want to talk to you through my puppet?
No, when I see puppets up close.
Yeah.
Stop it, Gavin. So, for example, Frank, you took me to a puppet show once in Edinburgh. And what depressed me, apart from the sock and the buttons,
Apart from the company.
was the crash of... There's a man with cymbals in the background, which I hated that. Why was there a man on cymbals? And I don't know, there's something I don't... On
There doesn't
telly-
have to be a man with
Okay,
symbols. That's
okay.
optional.
Well, like a big pound sign.
Yeah. But on telly, I don't mind it quite so much. Like Muppets, love it.
No, but I'm on about realistic ones. So,
Okay.
you'd watch, like we'll say, EastEnders, but it'd all be puppets. It'd be absolutely as good. Also, I'm at the stage now. I don't know about you.
Do they have puppets with sad faces?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
When these old age pensioners are having their heads ripped off, do you think they were laughing? I should say not.
Like the big blue eagle in the Muppets.
You're
He's sad.
going child puppet. You see, I'm
Yeah.
talking. I'm talking.
I'm sorry,
real.
we're not going down the
Real
adult
puppets.
puppet
I'll be
area.
straight with you. I have a certain affinity because I once had a review in which it described me as Thunderbird poppet-headed Frank Skinner.
Right.
Did
We're getting to the root of it now.
No. I was happy because I'm a big fan of the Jerry Anderson. Jerry Anderson, who did all the Superman, all the Thunderbirds and Stingray and all that, whose fan club is called, guess what?
What?
Fanderson.
Very
Brilliant.
good.
Brilliant. Anyway, I actually sent 3 different ideas to various television stations
did?
over the... Not sent, but, I had meetings
about puppets?
about puppet shows off of the telly, all of which were rejected with a sneer.
This might be why you're not welcome at the Comedy Awards this year.
Well, that could be it. I had Alien Bikers. That was one. I had a Cactus Creek, a Wild West puppet. Yeah, but it wasn't. It had jokes, but it was quite dark and quite
An
psychological.
old sock with a gun.
Well, the sheriff had terrible insecurity problems and whether he was doing the right thing in life. And he used to have long. I only wrote one episode. Long, difficult conversations with his deputy. He was a more Devil May Care character altogether. So there was that. And there was the
Can I just say,
pirate
Frank,
one.
the
I haven't talked about the
puppets
pirate
in your
one yet.
mind's eye,
Pirate one's been dismissed again.
it's not being dismissed. It's still there. It's got
Yeah.
everything to play for. But are the puppets? I'm just trying to clamber into your head. Are the puppets? Are they full version figurines?
Oh, and as Emily's
or
doing
big
this, she's
heads?
actually physically trying to clamber into Frank's
No,
head.
Yeah.
no, they're full. I love full version figurines. They're figurines. That's what they are. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I'll take one. I'll try anything once. Yeah,
Okay.
they're puppets. Have you ever seen Being John Malkovich,
I
that
have.
film? There's early on, I think it begins with a puppet sequence. It's quite a real looking. Like that.
I understand you now.
Part of my thing as well, as I've started to see actors as ever more ridiculous. There was a picture, and I think one of the best actors I've ever seen is a guy called Mark Rylance. Do you know him? He's
Yes.
brilliant. There was a picture, he's in a thing called Le Bet in Broadway, and it had a picture of him and 3 or 4 other actors, and they had like false, beards on and like what looked like sort of cavalier outfits. And I absolutely fell about laughing that grown-up people were doing such a thing. And the other night I walked through the West End, and there's some anyone who lives in London, there's a theatre in St Martin's Lane, and there's a Russian theatre company there. And there's lots of those pictures of actors looking very intense and upset about stuff outside. And I just thought, it was just so ludicrous. What do these people think they're doing with their lives? Whereas I don't think that about puppets. I'm happy. At the end of this puppet show, 4 people came out all dressed in black velvet catsuits. And I had admiration for them because it wasn't about them.
Yeah.
It was about the figurines.
I saw last week. I saw Matt LeBlanc on Graham Norton, who played.
Well, I wish you wouldn't come here with gossip.
That's Gareth's idea of gossip. That's his version of 3 a.m. Wicked Whispers.
Yeah.
Spotted Matt LeBlanc on the sofa, cuddling up to G. Norton.
No, there was no sofa. It was just on Graham Norton. It was on waste ground.
Joey from Friends, one of the, a great comedy character, and in real life he just wasn't as good. It wasn't Joey from Friends. He was just some man who didn't have much to say for himself.
Yeah.
And wasn't as good and friendly and nice as Joey from Friends.
Yeah.
And what would be much better if when he wasn't Joey from Friends, he just lay in a limp, lifeless. That's all he was. And with puppets, that's what...
You're suggesting that he should lay in a limp lifeless? Well, I'm all for alliteration, but I like to throw a bit of grammar into the mix. I don't know about you.
You can't handle freeform poetry.
No,
as part of my
I think he
expression.
should lay in a limp lifeless. I've often thought that about Matt LeBlanc. Yeah. Of course, we know why you like Matt LeBlanc, don't we?
What's that?
You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, the softest, mintiest show in town. Sponsored by Tree Bar Soft Mints.
Absolute.